Okay, let's troubleshoot this touchscreen problem. First thing I'm going to do is turn on the system. I'm going to power up the system. I'm going to come over here and I want to make sure that the IP address is correct on the touchscreen. So we got to wait for that for a second. And when it comes up, it'll be in this lower corner and we'll be able to read the IP address. So let's just wait. Okay, now you can read it here. It says 192.168.50.102. That's the correct IP address. Has to be right. So now we see that the processor is starting up. We'll know it's running when this begins to flash. That's the EtherCAT. So I'm going to look over here. Now the touchscreen says the program's not running. That's because the EtherCAT is not running yet. The processor is not running yet. Now the processor is running. And we'll know the processor is truly running when we see this light start flashing. Well, now we know the processor is controlling the outputs. We know it's running. We look over here, we can see the EtherCAT is flashing. This is the EtherCAT connection. So EtherCAT is from drive to drive, and then over to the remote I/O. Now we can see everything is beautiful. It's all running. That's EtherCAT. The other thing we have on this is Ethernet. Ethernet is right there. That's the communication to the drive from the printer and also from the touchscreen. So if I run backwards, that connection goes to the switch. And then from the switch, we have another cable that comes in from the HMI, connects to the switch, and then another cable runs up over to the top of the PDMM. That's the communication. So right now we're communicating and everything's working. Now I'm going to unplug this cable. That's from the HMI. And I come over here and we'll see that I have the same problem you have. Controller 1 communication station error. So that's the problem. So what do we have? We have an Ethernet cable from here, the HMI, comes down to the outside of the cabinet and plugs in here into that connector. Okay, so now I'm going to go over to the other side. And here's that cable. It connects here. I'm going to plug it back in. From here, it runs to the switch, and from the switch, it runs up to the top of the drive. So, the best way to check this is to take a cable directly from here, run it outside, and plug it in to the top of the PDMM. That'll bypass everything in the system. If it begins working, you know that you have either a defective cable or a defective connector here on either side, and it'll give you an idea of what's wrong. Now, if that doesn't fix the problem, then we have to suspect that the touchscreen itself is defective. That'd be the next thing to check. And also, as I mentioned, the IP address has to be correct on the touchscreen. So those are the clues that I have for you. Hopefully, let me know what you find.